News Channel 15 presents The Film Reel, the talk show where we discuss everything going on in the world of movies and television, with hosts Bryce West and John Freeland. This is The Film Reel. Hello and welcome into The Film Reel, the talk show where we talk about everything going on in the world of movies and television. I'm your host, Bryce West, here with my co-host here, John Freeland, here to kick off the show. We've got a look at our box office results from last weekend. Number one, if you've been watching the show, I don't need to even say what number one is, but just in case you're tuning in here for this episode for the first time, Tenet, number one. It's been number one for probably forever. No, but it's been number one ever since it came out. And with COVID-19, there's not really too many movies coming out right now, so it's just stayed up there this entire time. And now the actual interesting part of this top five here is Hocus Pocus coming in at number two, rounding out with around $2 million. And honestly, we're gonna talk a little bit more about Hocus Pocus in the Hollywood Minute for today, but this kind of makes sense because we talked about this last week whenever Empire Strikes Back made it into the top five, to where they're bringing in these really popular movies to bring people into the theater. And Hocus Pocus makes especially it makes a lot of sense right now because the Halloween season is coming up, so that is definitely something interesting there. Do you think anything else might have factored into Hocus Pocus making $2 million in the box office last weekend?
I feel like it's just like how Star Wars did it, but I feel like with this re-release and the Star Wars re-release, we might see a lot more re-releases soon.
Yeah, I feel like
Halloween.
I'm seeing a different re-release every... Well, actually, last week we talked about Star Wars. It was in the top five. It only got down to number 6. Yeah, so it didn't actually go far too low there. But yeah, these re-releases are coming about every week. There's a different movie that was re-released to kind of push people back into the theaters. So yeah, it's definitely very interesting. Coming in at number 3, New Mutants. Number 4, Unhinged, and number 5, Infidel. Some of the same movies that have been in there basically this whole time. So moving on into some movie news, some big news for Marvel fans. Doctor Strange joins the Spider-Man Far From Home sequel as I guess he'll be some sort of mentor to Peter in this sequel here. Obviously, Tony Stark is no longer around, so Peter is going to have someone else to mentor him there, and that's at least what the news sources are saying right now. However, I think there might be some secret business going on there, which we'll discuss here in a minute. But if it is indeed just Doctor Strange becoming the new mentor figure, I think it makes sense. The character of Stephen Strange is very similar to Tony Stark, and just in the way they are portrayed and how the characters act. So I feel like that would be the natural next mentor for Peter. However, we talked, I believe it was last week, that Jamie Foxx will be returning as Electro. Now, he actually already played Electro in a previous iteration of Spider-Man. And now with Doctor Strange coming in with this whole multiverse bending the powers that he has, and his movie is called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, it seems that there is definitely some multiverse shenanigans going on here now. So with the talks of Jamie Foxx being Electro in the next Spider-Man, and now Benedict Cumberbatch joining as Doctor Strange, do you think that this is basically definitive? We're getting Spider-Verse now?
I think, yeah.
Pretty much we're getting Spider-Verse?
It's very pushed towards, and because the last movie, the villain was Mysterio, where he faked all of his powers. I feel like he might also come back in the future with actual powers if they do a multiverse.
That would be cool, because that is one of the things that I didn't like about Far From Home, is that they made Mysterio too techy. Yeah. And that's not really his origins in the comics. He is a magician. Right, and so while he did use a lot of illusions in Far From Home, they were all tech-based, like Stark Industries stuff. So I'm kind of hoping that with this film, we can kind of move past Stark Industries Tony Stark, he's gone, he's not coming back. So I'm kind of hoping that we can just push that off to the side. As much as I love Iron Man, I feel like it's definitely time to move on from that and actually have these Spider-Man stories be Spider-Man stories instead of Iron Man Jr. stories.
In the last movie, they also did talk about a multiverse.
Yeah, but it was kind of a part of his lie. Yeah. So there wasn't actually a multiverse, but now it definitely seems that in the Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they're building towards that because they have WandaVision, and she's able to manipulate that kind of stuff. And then there's the new Doctor Strange movie, The Multiverse of Madness. So it literally says multiverse in the title. So they're doing multiverse stuff in this Phase 4. So with the appearance of Jamie Foxx as Electro, it kind of makes sense now. I mean, we speculated about this last week, but it's kind of becoming more clear that they're definitely going towards Spider-Verse with this. So if that is the case, I am definitely on board. Let's bring in Maguire, let's bring in Garfield, let's bring in the big three and have them team up for this film. I think that'd be awesome. However, they still got to kind of explain that cliffhanger at the end of Far From Home, though. Spoilers. But whenever Spider-Man is outed and he's known to be Peter Parker, I'm interested to see how they're dealing with that as well. It seems like there's going to be a lot going on in this Spider-Man Far From Home sequel. Moving on, some more Disney-ish related news. Soul, the Pixar movie that was supposed to come out this year, is now no longer coming out in theaters, at least domestically. It will be releasing internationally in some theaters. But now they have just said, we're going to release it on Disney Plus exclusively here in the U.S. and other countries that have Disney Plus as well. But it will be coming out on Christmas, December 25th. So this is very interesting news, especially since they tried this Mulan with the Premier Access thing to where you had to pay $30 to gain access to the film, and then you were able to watch it. But keep in mind, you didn't own the film. It was basically just an early access. So you're paying $30 to just stream the film and you don't even own it.
Yeah.
So that was definitely poor execution on Disney's part, I think. I think if they had released it as just you own it, you just release the VOD digitally, I think that would have been a much better way to handle it. But it's interesting now because they're doing the same thing with Soul, except they're just releasing it on Disney Plus, and you'll be able to stream it immediately whenever it comes out.
So like no cost?
At no cost. So it looks like that Disney is sort of backpedaling on this Premier Access thing here. At least with Soul, I definitely think it's looking like Mulan didn't perform so well with their Premier Access, and I cannot say that I am shocked because that was a horrible deal in my part, or in my opinion. Why would anybody want to do that? I mean, unless you were holding a party and there's like 10 people or a family of people, but the whole point of us not going to the theater is so that we can social distance. So if I'm inviting 10 people over to my house to watch Mulan, that defeats the whole purpose, right? So, and that's the only way that I could warrant spending $30 for an early access of Mulan. So it's interesting to see Soul now coming to Disney Plus, but you're just able to stream it immediately. John, what are your thoughts on that?
I think they're doing, like, with the Mulan thing, I thought it was a terrible idea how they did it. At least, like, $30 and you own the movie, or, like, $5 to just watch it for one night or something would have been much better.
That would have been interesting, yeah. And you just have it for the one night.
Yeah.
Or, like, maybe like a rental deal or something.
So, like,
yeah,
you rent
okay.
it for, like, a weekend or something.
Yeah.
So I feel like they could have done something like that with Soul, but because it's already $10 a month for Disney Plus or something like that.
Yeah, close, something. I think it's a little less, but yeah.
Like dropping the Soul movie will probably just get people to get Disney Plus for a month and watch the movie.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how much more successful this will be as opposed to Mulan. I don't really think they released the numbers of that, but I feel like that we'll probably have a general feel whenever it comes out if we see this happening more often in the future. With that being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back with more news here after this.
News Channel 15, winner of the Intercollegiate Broadcasting System Award for the nation's best community college TV station.
The clock is ticking. Don't be left out. Nationally recognized community colleges Frontier Community, Lincoln Trail, Olney Central, and Wabash Valley have established a priority scholarship deadline for students enrolling in fall 2021. And now is the time. Visit iecc.edu/priority to be first in line for scholarship dollars. The deadline for priority scholarship consideration is October 30th. Don't wait. Apply today. The tri-state source for alternative rock is 89.1 The Bash. Connect with us wherever you are on social. Listen live on our free mobile apps, online, or on TuneIn. We are today's hit alternative, 89.1 The Bash.
It just takes a moment to spread from one person to another. So how do you break the germ cycle? Wash your hands often and always after coughing, sneezing, handling food, and going to the bathroom. Lather the front, back, and in between for at least 20 seconds. If there's no soap or water available, use a hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Regularly disinfect common surfaces, including your phone. These small things can help break the germ cycle.
Here in Southern Illinois, we all know the weather can change in an instant. When severe weather strikes, you can count on the team at News Channel 15 to provide you the latest information to keep you and your family safe. From watches and warnings to storm spotter information with our direct link to the National Weather Service, the team at News Channel 15 is here to give you the most up-to-the-minute severe weather coverage, not only on air but also online and on our Facebook page. News Channel 15, putting Southern Illinois first.
Welcome back into the film room. We've got some more news to talk about here. Starting right off here, DC is adjusting its movie release schedule due to some COVID-19 complications. So we're going to go ahead and list through all the DC movies here that are going to be changed. Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad currently, as of this moment, are not going to be changed. They're sticking to their initial release dates. The Batman, however, has moved, and it will be releasing on March 4th, 2022. The Flash will release on November 4th, 2022. Aquaman 2 will release only a little over a month later after Flash, December 16th, 2022. Shazam! Fury of the Gods will not be releasing now until June 2nd, 2023. Phew-wee. Man, that kid is going to be like 21 whenever that movie comes out. They're going to have to. That's going to be interesting to see. And then Black Adam has currently been removed from the release schedule. However, that does not mean in any way that it's canceled. It's just they don't have a release date for it yet. So they're still definitely making that movie. Dwayne Johnson, they're gonna make this film, and they're committed to making that film. It's just they don't know whenever it's going to release now. So some interesting stuff there. Shazam is definitely the one where I'm going like, yikes, because Shazam, it's obviously the entire cast are kids. Yeah. Right, and these kids are going to be quite a bit older from the first film whenever the next one comes out in 2023. It might be one of those deals to where they film it and sit on it for a while,
like editing and
because from what I understand, they were supposed to be filming this in like January. Yeah. So what I'm thinking here is that they're going to go ahead and film these films, but they're going to sit on them for a while because they've got, like, theaters have got to open back up to normal for these movies to be anywhere near successful to where they could even break even. Tenet has been out for forever, and it still hasn't broken even yet. It's only made $300 million worldwide, and it needs an estimate of $450 to $500 to even break even. Yeah. So, so I'm looking at this as they're trying to space these out to where they have some wiggle room, except for Flash and Aquaman. I don't know what they're doing with that one, only a month apart. But they're trying to space these out to where they have some breathing room to where they can release a film and it can be out for a long time before they have to worry about getting the other one out and that one having to break even. So, John, what are your thoughts on all of these DC movies getting pushed back? For some, all the way back to 2023?
I feel like a big reason, like you said, it's really hard to break even, and paying like editors and other like cast members is a lot. So you can do all the filming and then just not have any of the CGI crew like it working on these movies until like way later down the line.
Sure, yeah.
Because at the moment they haven't really dropped too many movies, and so they're losing money. And so they want to expand, you know, how long each movie will be in theaters, but they also like have to pay everybody. And so I feel like they're trying to spread it out so they don't have
that
so
is
many groups.
An interesting assessment. I never thought of that, to where they could delay post-production for however many months that they need to reallocate some money to other projects. I never thought of that, to where they could just sit on it. Well, I figured they'd sit on it, but I usually you once you're done with production, you go into post-production almost immediately. But I never thought of that, to where they could delay post-production to work on other things, and then start working on it later on. I mean, they definitely have. If Shazam films in January and it doesn't release until 2023, they've definitely got some time there. So that's definitely a very interesting assessment. I dig that. That's definitely, yeah. So moving on to an interesting project here. Ousted as AIM's leader after selling it to Grumble due to his constant failures at taking over the world, MODOK struggles with his marriage and family life as he faces a midlife crisis. So, the popular Iron Man villain is getting his own show on Hulu, and they are taking an interesting approach to this. I knew it was going to be animated, but I didn't know that they were going to go with a stop motion style. As you could see in that picture there, this is an interesting little project that they're doing. MODOK struggles with his marriage and family life as he faces a midlife crisis. Well, that is not the direction that I thought they were going with the show. The show stars Patton Oswalt, and I believe he's in more of a creative role as well. Patton Oswalt, excuse me. So, John, what are your thoughts on MODOK?
If you told me that there's a MODOK series coming out, I would not have guessed at all that it's about a midlife crisis as he struggles with his wife and family. But I feel like it's going to be extremely fun.
It'll be funny, I think, yeah.
It has to be a comedy, because I will not take it seriously.
I'm just amazed in the direction that they're going with this. This is definitely not where I thought they were going with this, but I mean, well, and then what do you think of the animation style? Because that took me by surprise as well.
I mean, it's stop motion, and I've only seen one picture, so I'm not sure how they're doing like their stop motion of it. But I've always been a very big fan of animations. I've even animated myself, and stop motion is definitely not the easiest thing. Yeah. So I feel like it could look good for stop motion, but it's still stop motion.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I never thought that they would have gone for stop motion with this. I thought it was probably going to be a traditional 2D animated style,
or maybe even 3D.
But stop motion, that's definitely interesting. I did not think that they were going to do that. So moving on here, loads of movie news as we head into the weekend and closer to Halloween. Here is David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Back in 1693, the people of Salem, Massachusetts,
witches,
thought they got rid of the Sanderson sisters for good.
For many movie fans, Halloween means Hocus Pocus. Fandango looked at the most watched scary movies during Halloween week over the last 5 years on its video-on-demand service, Vudu, and the 1993 witchy comedy topped the list. Another 1993 movie, The Nightmare Before Christmas, came in second, and The Ghost with the Most, 1988's Beetlejuice, ranked third.
India, a place of spiritual enlightenment. What happens when a 23-year-old Westerner goes there in search of himself, and he finds the Beatles are there too?
For one thing, he takes some great photographs. Meeting the Beatles in India features Paul Saltzman's 1968 photos and his experiences with the Beatles as they learned transcendental meditation and wrote songs for the White Album. The The film hits pay-per-view Friday, which would have been John Lennon's 80th birthday.
I did it! I got the gig!
Another major movie is fleeing theaters. Soul from Disney Pixar, originally slated to debut in June, then November 20th, will now premiere on the streaming service Disney Plus on December 25th. Disney reportedly will release the animated film in theaters in international markets where Disney Plus isn't yet available. Pining for movie theater popcorn in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
There's a look at that, as we stated earlier, Hocus Pocus and Soul right there. So some familiar stuff there. With that being said, we're going to take another quick break. And after this, Alec Vaughn is here with his top 5 sports movies right after this.
At First National Bank, we are committed to providing our customers with superior customer service. Whether in person or over the phone, our goal is to provide a positive customer experience each and every day. Give us a call or stop in one of our local branches today.
Financial aid can be stressful, and the FAFSA can be confusing, but we can help. Frontier Community, Lincoln Trail, Olney Central, and Wabash Valley Colleges are teaming up for free virtual FAFSA nights, Thursday nights in October, beginning October 8th. Sign up today at iecc.edu/FAFSA for a free virtual session with one of our financial aid professionals. Sessions are available in private online breakout rooms. And hurry, Trust Bank is also offering special raffles for students who register.
Now, more of the Film Reel with Alec Vaughn.
Hi, I'm Alec Vaughn, and you're watching the Film Reel here on News Channel 15. And today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite sports movies. All right, number 5, we have The Water Boy with Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler plays a little country boy in Louisiana who lives with his mama, and he's trying to go to school and play football. And when he does play football, he finds it really fun. And there's a lot of funny stuff in this movie. My favorite lines in the movie are Medulla oblongata and I love my mama. And I also like the scene where he's looking at the big guy in the championship game and says, "You sound like a big choo-choo train," and Captain Insano shows no mercy. And at number 4, we have Rocky. The film stars Sylvester Stallone, who plays a boxer who fights Apollo Creed for the World Heavyweight Championship of the world. And it's a very emotional movie. He falls in love with a girl who's also his best friend's sister. And my favorite scene in the movie where he's running and he gets all motivated. And at number 3, we have Hoosiers. Hoosiers takes place in the 50s in Indiana. It stars Gene Hackman, who plays a history teacher who's also a head basketball coach, coaching this very small high school, and he leads them to the state championship later that year. And the film's really good because the first time I watched it, I was the high school basketball manager at my high school, and I could really see how much influence it is on high school basketball. I really liked it when I first watched it. And at number 2, we have Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights is a really good football movie. It's about this one town in Texas who's really passionate about football, and when their best player gets injured in the first game of the season, they have to really scratch and claw in order to become playoff eligible. And when they are playoff eligible, they have to do a coin toss to see who goes in the playoffs, and they win the coin toss, and they get like the lowest seed and go to the state tournament but lose. And it's a really powerful movie because the seniors on that football team were really influential, because the next season after that, the high school went undefeated and won the state tournament. And at number 1, I have The Sandlot. The Sandlot's one of my all-time favorite sports movies because it's about a little boy who moves to a neighborhood, and he befriends this group of kids who play a lot of baseball at this one baseball field called The Sandlot. And one day, the little boy grabs a baseball that's signed by Babe Ruth, and whenever they hit a home run across the field, it lands into this one neighbor's guy who has this one monster dog guarding it. And so they have a wild goose chase on trying to get the baseball back. And there's a lot of fun lines in it. Like, my favorite scene is when they go to that carnival and they put up in the can of chew and they ride that one ride and they throw up everywhere. And I thought that was really funny. And that's going to do it with us here at News Channel 15. I'm Alec Vaughn. I'll see you later.
Thank you, Alec. Now let's take a look at some trailers.
See all those words? Put them all together, and you have a story.
Story.
Captain, why are you doing this? Little girl is lost. I'm returning her to her surviving family. Well, you can certainly handle a horse.
Horse.
That's right.
Captain.
Make no mistake, Captain. Road's closed. Is that the law?
It is now. How much you want for her?
She's not for sale. The stories on these pages can't get us home.
She ain't worth dying for!
You can't have her! And I'm taking her home! It's hard. Finding your way.
News of the World. In theaters Christmas.
Good morning, Goldie. My name is Guy, and I live in Free City. I have everything I need. Except one thing.
Hey! Excuse me. Hey! Hey, bud, you ever think that there's got to be more?
More than what?
The stuff we do day after day.
Literally not once.
Today's gonna be different, Goldie. What are we looking at?
Who are you?
We ran into each other the other day.
How did you find me?
I waited outside by the murder train.
Guy, I have to tell you something. There is no easy way to say this. This world, it's a video game.
I really want to kiss you. Is that weird?
Listen to me. You're not real.
Wait, you let who kiss you?
Guy.
There's not a button for that.
Oh, he found the button.
Buddy, if we're not real, doesn't that mean that nothing you do matters?
I am sitting here with my best friend trying to help him get through a tough time. Now, if that's not real, I don't know what is.
Millie, I know this world is just a game, but this place, these people, that's all I have.
Thanks, Guy.
Who is this guy?
This character in the video game Free City has been turning heads by being the good guy.
Who is blue shirt guy?
You're absolutely right. Who is he or she, indeed?
This loser is ruining the game, man.
I don't care if he's Arnold freaking Schwarzenegger. Terminate him.
We're doing great. Guy, in 2 days, the game is going to shut down. You, this whole city, they'll be gone.
What if we can save it?
Was that cool? It felt really cool. We can change our world, but we have to fight together. I don't even know what's happening right now, but I love it! This is the first time I've ever driven a car before.
I really wish you'd mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love you, blue shirt guy!
Thank you! Watch out for the... They seem nice.
Oh, there was a look at some trailers there. News of the World starring Tom Hanks and Free Guy starring Ryan Reynolds. So, John, what were your thoughts on those two trailers there?
I saw a trailer of Free Guy a while back, and I cannot wait for that movie. I love Ryan Reynolds. It's gonna be great. I can't wait.
Yeah, I am definitely excited for Free Guy as well. It definitely looks like it's going to be a hilarious movie there. And then also, News of the World starring Tom Hanks looks like it is going to be a really good flick as well. I mean, anything with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Is almost guaranteed to be a good movie there. But Free Guy, Oh man, like you put Ryan Reynolds in just about anything and it'll be
funny.
hilarious. Like he is one of the most hilarious actors that we have on the scene right now. So I am definitely excited for Free Guy as well. With that being said, we're gonna wrap things up here on the Film Reel. I am Bryce West. This is John Freeland. Have a good night, everybody.